Hello and welcome to pdfsupply.com. Today we're going to be discussing troubleshooting, basic troubleshooting on an RX7i That is an RX7i processor. And if you have a troubled processor, the first thing that I would do if it were in my test lab is to make a brief observation of the board, both sides, look for anything that's burnt or out of place. Things are very small, you have to look closely, both sides. And then of course I would look at all the pins to make sure that they're aligned straight, they're not bent or pushed in. Okay, so if that's okay, then I would put it in my rack. I'm using an IC698CHS017 rack, a IC698 PSA 100 power supply, and of course I have the IC698CPE020 RX7i processor. Connected through port 1. Power up is the first part of the test. Looking for my light pattern, and what I'm hoping to see if the processor is in good health after it's gone through its self-diagnostic is an OK light. That is an indication that the CPU is telling you it's in good working health. Doesn't mean that you may not have a problem, but that's the first thing I would look for. If it doesn't have the OK light, I would say stop right there, and it's going to need some repair or possibly replacement. So then, once I have it in this condition, I'm going to use my Prophecy Machine Edition software to connect up to it. And what I want to do first is get it into program mode. Go to Target on the top menu bar. The drop down to Online Commands. Pardon me, Diagnostics. When I look at the diagnostics, I'm looking for a I/O or controller fault table to see where the problem might be. If I don't find anything in the I/O or the controller fault table, or nothing that stands out as a major fault, then what I would do is go back to Target, Online Commands, Clear, and I would clear controller and I/O fault table. The reason for this is because the processor in my test program has a different configuration from an active processor, and that'll hang you up if you try to get into run mode without clearing the controller and I/O faults. Once that's done, I go through the download and run process, or download and start active target. In this particular case, I'm only using hardware configuration and logic. No forced values or anything like that. And that would just be the first two selections in the drop-down menu as it appears. Now also note that on the processor itself, I have the toggle switch in the stop mode. That's because I want to be able to test the switch. The only way I can test the switch is if I have it in the stop mode and then go through run and run enabled after the programming is complete, the download is complete. Now it's done, and I'm going to enable outputs. I'm still in stop mode, so when I click to run disabled, that means run with outputs disabled. I should have a run light, an OK and a run light, and then when I go to run enabled, I/O outputs enabled, I should have the full ENA enabled light on. So now this is a good working processor. Everything checks out. So if you're still having difficulties after this, getting this into run mode, the problem likely lies elsewhere throughout your I/O cards, or even what the I/O cards are connected to, where the processor is detecting possibly a short circuit. So if you guys are still having a problem and you are stumped, please reach us at 1-800-360-6802, or find us online at www.pdfsupply.com.